Okay, video number 2. Now, this was where I was definitely looking at, and that is the fact that I was looking at running for governor. And a lot of people think, well, you're not educated, you got in trouble, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I hear your arguments. I do. But if your argument is that I'm not educated, so you don't want a standard citizen representing you in government, okay. You don't want somebody that's had the hard life and has always had a hard life representing you in government. Okay, now if they want to attack me, so you're saying, so if a politician attacks me, so you're saying a standard citizen don't belong in government. Really? Because if you attack me for being uneducated or something like that, you're basically saying that a standard citizen or someone of my caliber does not belong in government. That means you're terrified and afraid of the changes I'm going to bring. Because I'm not one of you. Because if your argument's that, well, I'm smart enough to know that I need to surround my people that are educated enough to handle it. So you got that going on. So if they want to attack me there, go right ahead. Go right ahead. You want to attack me on me getting in trouble? Guess what? Most of Americans have gotten in trouble at least once in their life. So have I. I've gotten in trouble multiple times. So the difference is I got self-accountability. And I know I've made my mistakes. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that's also self-accountable. But you guys are not self-accountable in the government. You want to look at the cops. What's going on right now with the cops? The defund the police and all this different stuff. You want to defund a group of people that's making 30 to 40 grand a year, maybe 50 if they're lucky. They're usually having to work, when they get off work from being a police officer, they usually have to go work a second side job just so they can pay their bills. A lot of these guys are giving everything they can to serve and help the community. What's the politicians doing? Making $250,000 a year, riding private jets, sitting at nice tables, eating off crystal plates, and trying to make it appear like they're part of you, like they're one of you. You really want to start talking? All right, let's look at AOC. You can't tell me she ain't making 250 grand a year. I guarantee you she sits there and makes it appear like she's one of the people, but I guarantee you she's going to these big events, sitting down, eating nice crystal plates and doing that stuff. And all that stuff is fine. It's part of being a politician. But how are you going to sit there and pretend you're one of the people when you're making 250 grand a year? What are you doing to be part of the people? Putting out YouTube videos, Facebook videos? Please. As if you want to show you're part of one of the people, maybe get out there and go volunteer, go do stuff and be part of the communities. And maybe she is doing something, but I guarantee you it's mainly just contributing money. I guarantee you she ain't getting out there. Whereas I would. If I ran for governor, I'm going to still continue doing that stuff. You know why? Because I want to hear what the people got to say. I want to hear what they got to think. Because that's the changes that need to come into the government. Right now, me and my dad have been working on 4 constitutional props that we want to put out that's going to start holding the government accountable. And that'll go to the American people to vote on. Something they can't stop. So we have to really start stepping back and addressing what's going on in the government. The government's the issue. It's not the police. You want to sit there and fault the police for something that Joe Biden passed. See, they're doing their job. Their job is only to uphold the law. But you want to know the law that's locked up a lot of black people? 94 crime bill. That 94 crime bill was passed by Joe Biden. But where's his accountability? He's not held accountable at all. None of the stuff going on. None of the George Floyd stuff. None of that stuff is being tagged back to Biden. Even though it was his bill that created that situation. So, we have to start looking at our government. The government's the problem. I can tell you right now, if I run for government, and I run for governor, let's just say things go wrong and I had to run in 2022. Some of the first things I'm going to be aiming to do, and they're going to hate this, and like I said, most likely I have a feeling if I do, they're probably going to aim to assassinate me because they're not going to like the changes. And it'll definitely be the Democrats that'll do it. I can tell you there's some things the Republicans might not agree with me on, but there's a lot they will. But they ain't going to sit there and have me assassinated for it. Democrats would. So Nancy Pelosi, look at her. She takes a private jet to D.C. Unless you're the president, you don't need to be on no damn private jet. First class on American Airlines, okay, whatever. But a private jet, I don't stand with that. You're a servant to the people. You're there to serve. Now, given her position, $250,000 a year, I don't disagree with that. But Gavin or someone like that making $250,000 a year? Hell no. Hell no. We have to restructure the pay system for the government. A lot of these politicians are making way too much money. So, and that's one thing they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that I'm going to change their pay. They don't want to hear any of that stuff. So, I can tell you right now, if I ran for governor, I think the top end that a governor should be getting paid maybe would be $150,000 a year. Maybe. I don't think they should be making a whole hell lot more than that. They're only serving one state. They shouldn't be making a whole lot more than that. And I honestly think that that's very tight for what they do. They're there to serve. If I run for governor, I'm still going to, like I said, I'm still going to be out there with the community. I'm going to still be out there hearing questions and getting concerns. You don't think I'll go talk to the BLM movement? I'll talk to the movement. I won't talk to the organization, but I'll talk to the movement. I'll hear them out. Now, if you want to talk to defund the police, it's not going to happen, but you want to talk about some changes we could possibly make, hey, great. Let's talk. But the government's the problem. And until we get someone in there that can actually make a real change, that's not going to happen. Like I said, I have a candidate that definitely caught my interest. But we got to see how this all unfolds. Because if on some off chance something goes wrong, I'm probably going to have to jump in. And they're not going to like me. I don't have a problem addressing and attacking stuff. If Jenner wins, for instance, ain't no way in hell I don't run in 2022. Or at least strongly look at running. Because Jenner is not a candidate. He is being planted. But we gotta start reducing their pay. We need to start holding the government accountable, because they're the ones passing the laws that the cops have to enforce, and that's part of their job. The cops' job is to enforce the stuff. The politician's job is to pass the stuff that they have to enforce. So, if I run, I'm going to be the strongest against the government candidate that they've ever had. Trump might have been the only one that even challenges close to what I am. And like I said, I have an answer for just about everything, and I have solutions for a lot of stuff. But mine address the government, not the people. If I run, it's going to be because I'm there fighting for the people, not because I'm fighting for the government or anything going on in the government. I'm fighting for the people. That's the reason I do a lot of charity work, and I love getting out there and helping others. We have to start making some real changes. We need to start reducing the government's pay. There needs to be term limits put on certain positions in the government. We have to start passing laws and stuff that protect the people from the government. I know there's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, the Constitution's supposed to do that, but I don't think there is enough of an extent on that. I think that needs to be expanded on. The federal government has drastically overreached itself, and it's getting ridiculous. So, like I said, one thing I would be addressing, the pay. They get paid entirely too much. I would address laws and stuff like that to start holding the government accountable for their actions. They need to start being held accountable. If you're going to sit there and throw a fit over George Floyd and all this stuff, and you're going to fault the officer, why are you not faulting the politician that passed the law that got that officer to do that job? It's that simple.